Hey, Kristen, so excited to have you in the Gut Glow Reset program. Thank you for your patience. I've had some family things going on in this past week. So I'm just getting to making your Gut Glow Reset plan. I've been working on the packet, like I said, with, listening to what you've been telling me, looking at your roadmap, looking at your intake forms, looking at some of the foods you've been posting and putting it all together with the testing that you're getting and making a full assessment to make sure I can help you to the best of my ability. And I have a lot of confidence to say that I know we're going to get you feeling really good, ditch the bloating, get you feeling so much better, ditch the fatigue, and just help you have less food sensitivities, stop these reactions to your meals, and improve the microbiome and the digestive breakdowns that are happening so we can get your digestion running in tip-top shape and your microbiome back in balance. So I'm going to go over your welcome packet, which is your personalized plan for the entire program. It's about 40 something pages. We're not going to go over the entire thing right now, but you'll get the main points of what we're going to achieve in the program, your recommendations, supplementation, targeted elimination diet. So we'll go over all this. And so I'll flip my screen around and show you what we're getting into. So hold on. Okay. Great. So you'll still see me in the top corner, but I'm going to go over this PDF, which will also be in your document section. So definitely check that out. Go through all of the documents that you have available now as well. I told you about yesterday, the low FODMAP grocery guide, the Trader Joe's grocery guide that is all low FODMAP, and the Amazon list is also great for some different ideas and things that you can do for increasing those foods that reduce bloating and help reduce that fermentable carbohydrates. We'll go over that a little bit more as to why we're recommending that for you right now. Okay. Zoom in a little bit. So I'm sure you've gotten the gist of healthy. You started uploading some journals, which is great. We'll be communicating through Google Drive with the roadmap, and the Excel sheet for your labs. We'll use email. Healthy will typically prompt you with forms to complete through email. Your extended monthly payments that will be through email. We have Facebook group that you can access every single day where clients can ask questions, like general questions that everyone in the group would benefit from. Posts like challenge selfies, anything that is supportive. We're always active in that Facebook group. I typically also post the recordings for all the live Q&A calls so that if you can't make it, that you can hop on afterwards and watch the recording. But I hope you are able to make those 5 p.m. time slots. The next one is next Wednesday. I believe it's the 23rd at 6 p.m. Oh my God, 5 p.m. Sorry. So it's already in the calendar. If you look in the Healthy calendar, you also see the upcoming live call dates, and then you could join from that Healthy calendar. Or you can always join from that Facebook group. I'll typically post the link as well in there the day before, so you can join from the Facebook link as well. And you'll also be able to communicate, obviously, in the Healthy Journal. I'll be responding to a lot of your comments and giving feedback, giving suggestions based on foods and snacks that you're posting. We'll be updating your roadmap every month based on your bi-monthly check-ins. So when we have a one-to-one check-in, we'll typically talk via text and voice message in the Healthy Messenger section. So you're able to kind of have a one-on-one check-in as opposed to just checking in on the live calls. And that's, again, when we'll be updating your roadmaps with additional notes that help support where you're at in your journey. And I typically recommend that you journal at least 3 days a week and 1 weekend day. And typically, some clients like to journal every single day. It's really up to you and what you feel like is going to help you. If it's going to be, affect you in a negative way to post every single day, then I'd rather you just post the 3 days a week. But I do ask that if you do start one day, you kind of finish out the entire day if possible. But, if not, even if you do post, once a day, and then you said that you had symptoms, or you can also log symptoms separately, which I do encourage, because then we can link certain foods together. I can help put the pieces together of what I think happened with why you got bloated, or what foods may have triggered your symptoms at that point, but I may ask you like additional questions, like what did you have last night? Or because it's not always about what you ate at the last meal. Sometimes the symptoms can occur 24 hours later, depending on the FODMAP load or the carbohydrate fermentation load of the past 24 hours. So I'll probably ask you some follow-up questions typically and just get really clear about what you ate or why I think the symptoms may have happened. You can also log bowel movements. What I'll ask you what type of bowel movement it was, but that's really helpful. You can log your water goal for the day and log your water intake. We'll get to how much water I recommend for you. I definitely think you need to increase that. You're probably on that chronically dehydrated side where it's definitely influencing why you're getting nauseous in the morning. I think it's also related to stomach acid levels, but the nausea can definitely be a sign of dehydration that in the morning. You can also put a menu in either your healthy journals or the Facebook group if you want a menu to be reviewed. Let's say you're going out to eat this weekend and you want to, see what's good for you to eat, what I think is good for the menu. We can look at that together. And I just ask that you do it maybe like Wednesday or Thursday if you're going out on Friday or Saturday. It just gives me a little time to review. But that is really helpful because I don't want you to feel like you have to just stay home on this elimination diet, that it's going to like impede on your life, because I really just want it to fit into your life and you can make the best decisions for the moment that you're in instead of revolving your life around this, because that is not fun either. We don't want you having to, completely stay home or change every little thing that you're going to be doing. We want this to adapt to your life. Do you feel that it's a realistic change? And just know that all the recommendations are temporary for this elimination diet, just so we can settle down the symptoms, settle down the inflammation as we're addressing the root cause issues and the digestive breakdowns going on in the GI tract. So this is the health vision form. This will actually come up in your program modules. You may have actually gotten this already from a healthy email. So if you get a form like this, it will typically say in your email, you have a new module in the Gut Glow Reset program on healthy. So when you get those emails, definitely click that, because this will prompt usually a new questionnaire, a new gut symptoms audit, a health vision form like this, a plant diversity score for the month. So definitely keep an eye out on those emails. This is a little bit how we are, what our gut bacteria eat. What we feed our gut is information for the type of bacteria that we're encouraging. So when we have things like prebiotics or foods that feed our good gut bacteria, veggies, fruits, nuts, fiber, polyphenols, resistant starches, and I'll teach you about these things in the program, fermented foods, different herbs. These things are all beneficial for our microbiome. They promote the good bacterial growth. They improve our fat metabolism. They reduce weight loss resistance. And this is all to say that it's a specific type of fiber for you right now, because all fiber is not equal with how our body can tolerate it. So we want to feed it the appropriate fiber right now for where your gut is at, so we can reduce bloating. And then eventually we'll get you to the point where you can tolerate all fiber. And it doesn't matter what type of fiber you're eating, and you're not going to get that bloated feeling. But we really will be focusing on the large intestinal microbiome as well, and hopefully addressing that small intestinal bacterial overgrowth we think is going on. You're going to let me know about that testing if we think that it was ordered. Otherwise, there is options to get that tested through, online, where we can get a home test. So things that negatively affect the microbiome, like excess sugar intake, excess saturated fat, like red meat and pork and processed meats, conventional protein, where it's not grass-fed, it's not organic, an alteration in the gut pH. So definitely having low stomach acid, that can alter our microbiome and the way we digest our food later down the digestive tract. So that's why it's going to be really important that we want to optimize that stomach acid, because you do have a lot of the symptoms of lower stomach acid. Artificial sweeteners and PPIs and antacids, these can really damage that microbiome and the digestion rate later down the GI tract. This can increase our inflammation in the GI tract. It increases our bacterial endotoxin, which is called lipopolysaccharide. These are bacterial toxins when we have a high amount of pathogens in the gut. And I think this is definitely the case for you, because you're getting those chronic UTIs a few times a year where you need antibiotics. So it's wiping out your good gut bacteria every time you take an antibiotic, and it's allowing those pathogens to grow back a little stronger. And those UTIs are a sign from the gut that we have some negative and pathogenic fungi and bacteria going on that are then influencing the urinary tract. So it's also influencing some of the stools that you've had. I know you said, I don't think you have, like, you're not constipated, but it's not always great. Like, it's mixed in consistency and it changes throughout the day or throughout the week. So we'll definitely help to optimize those bowel movements, get them improved. We'll also check on your insulin resistance. I'm pretty sure your glucose was pretty good. So I don't really think you had a lot of insulin resistance going on, which is great. Your glucose was slightly elevated, but your A1C was good, which is your 3-month record of your blood sugar. So that's very good. Well, these are some factors that negatively affect the microbiome, antibiotics being the major one, and the low fiber diet for you. If you have diet that's high in carbs or refined sugar, preservatives, additives, this can be a negative factor, as well as pathogens that are overgrowing, such as bacterial overgrowth, viruses, fungi, candida, which is fungi. And let's talk about the kind of the breakdown of how we're going to tackle this. So we're going to talk about my balanced meal formula. I know you watched the balanced meal video, so you already have the basis for that balanced plate, which is great. So you can start working on that. We're going to talk about the guided elimination diet with an emphasis on whole quality, high quality plant foods. This really allows that immune system to suppress the inflammation in the gut and to reduce and provide symptom relief. So we're reducing the fuel that the bacteria in the small intestine have to create those gases that are influencing that strong bloat, that like hard belly that you're getting and that pregnant looking feeling. If we reduce the fuel that they need to create those gases that are creating that bloat, then we won't have that bloat. But the goal is that we don't want to be reducing these foods for too long. We want to address the microbial overgrowth and get rid of it so that it's not having that reaction, so that then you can reintroduce these high FODMAP foods down the line in the program, usually at about the 2 to 3 month mark, depending on your symptom relief. And by that point, your gut will be in a much better place to then handle these high fiber, highly fermentable foods. We'll also be talking about supplementation, like we said, because those targeted supplements are going to be addressing what we need to address in addition to your diet changes to improve the state of the gut. And then we're going to take what we've learned and make sure that you have a varied, balanced diet with balanced meals and full of plant foods. And you're going to feel so much better on this. And then we're not going to have to reduce any of those highly fermentable carbs. We're really then optimize the way you're eating and get you these long-lasting habits that are going to create this balanced microbiome and healthy GI tract that's going to keep you healthy and prevent you getting UTIs in the future as well. So I wrote down your current weight, your ideal body weight for your height, which is the top range is 138. So I think 135 is a great goal weight. I don't think 100% we would see that in the program, just being fully transparent. 4 months is a short period of time, and we want to address SIBO first. So the goal is that we address bacterial overgrowth, because bacterial overgrowth actually causes weight loss resistance. So you're kind of working uphill a little bit. But these balanced meals are really important as we're treating SIBO, because if you're having imbalanced blood sugar, low fiber intake, it's going to be really hard for your gut to use that fuel from these healthy foods to promote healing. And as we're addressing SIBO, that will reduce your weight loss resistance and it will make it that much easier to lose weight. I still think that with some diet changes up front, you will see some weight loss because of how you said you've been eating generally low fiber. So I do think you will see some initial weight loss though. So a realistic goal would maybe be like 20 pounds, 15 to 20 pounds, what I would say. So definitely don't be discouraged by me saying like you're not going to reach your goal weight, because you're going to definitely be on your way towards it, especially with addressing what's going on in the microbiome first, because this again affects your metabolism. So we will be testing for SIBO, hopefully, and because there is an option for out of pocket. Again, like I said, it's just not doesn't go through insurance, so it's about $350. So it's definitely more expensive if you're going online and doing it out of pocket. So hopefully your doctor will be doing that. You said you can let me know this week, which is great. I'm thinking there's a few different gases that it could be. There's methane, hydrogen, or hydrogen sulfide. I'm thinking it's likely more hydrogen or hydrogen sulfide. We typically see methane dominant gas with bacterial overgrowth, with constipation. So, but evidenced by your pregnant looking bloat, your fatigue after meals, your gas, reflux, nausea, because these gases go up and down. Sometimes they go up and they cause reflux and nausea, and sometimes they go down and cause that lower stomach bloating and gas. So it can go both ways. The chronic UTI is a big sign. So I think there may be some CFO going on as well, which is a fungal overgrowth. There's mucus in the stools as well, as you said, sometimes, which can be common with fat malabsorption with SIBO, because SIBO bacteria, let's say they're in the small intestine, they actually usually turn off our bile because bile is antimicrobial. So they don't like bile. So sometimes we can get some indigestion of fats. And so that's why I do want you to also get your vitamin D tested, because we could typically see vitamin D low with SIBO because of that inactivation of how we can digest our fats. Definitely, like I said, influenced by this history of chronic antibiotics, chronic UTIs, which stem from an unbalanced microbiome. Low stomach acid is also a root cause of SIBO. We also want to check the gallbladder for issues because of that fat malabsorption. We know that the history of birth control, that also alters the microbiome diversity. It reduces good bacteria in the gut, influencing pathogens being able to grow a little bit, outweighing the good guys. But I don't recommend typically, like if you do get a SIBO test with a doctor, I don't typically recommend what they recommend, the antibiotic rifaximin, because of the fact that it can make an overgrowth worse, encourage relapse, especially if you have fungi present, which you definitely do with the fact that you have a lot of UTIs, which typically is associated with fungi. Rifaximin does not address fungi. So the herbal supplements that I use instead do address fungi and parasites and viruses, as opposed to rifaximin that only addresses bacteria. And I've seen very high relapse rate with rifaximin. So that's just my recommendation on that. We'll see what your doctor suggests. But again, I have my own recommendations for treating. Then we have a large intestinal dysbiosis. I do think this is present and coexisting with the SIBO. Like I said, with the influence of the antibiotics recently, the low fiber diet, definitely can see the symptoms there present with all these chronic GI symptoms. And there are the studies that indicate the microbiome can be significantly affected by antidepressants because they target serotonin. So this is something we could even think about down the line. We're definitely going to get your gut to a really good place, but that can always like negatively tip the scales in a little bit, in like a small way. So that's just something to keep in mind. I just want you to have all the information you can. And then when you have dysbiosis, this increases our cravings for sugar, processed food. So sometimes it's not always us with these cravings, it's our bacteria that are influencing our negative cravings that want us to eat like junk food or processed food. This is in the gut-brain axis. So the microbiome and the brain, they're always talking. So that's something we are definitely going to be addressing together, addressing the gut-brain axis. I'm also going to have you watch a SIBO video lesson this week, which dives a little bit deeper on the entire like SIBO definition and small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, so you get a really good understanding of that. I also think there's leaky gut present, which is gut permeability in a scientific term. This is when the gut lining opens up a little bit and particles and bacteria can get through or between our cells that we're supposed to use for absorption. They get between them and then they get into our bloodstream, and that increases our metabolism, it influences our metabolism negatively. So it can cause weight loss resistance. It can cause inflammation. It can cause thyroid issues. So again, another reason why we want to be testing the thyroid. I have that on your recommended lab work. So I think you said you're going to go back to the primary doctor, which is great because we definitely want some more of those testing. And that influences anxiety and depression and brain fog and all these non-GI symptoms that are definitely being influenced by what's going on in the gut. So the gut permeability is something we're going to target in the program as well together. I definitely, again, think you have some lower stomach acids, you have some undigested food in the stools. Um, you have like that acid reflux and upper abdominal pain. You have loose stools after a heavy meal. You get burping after eating. You get nauseous. You feel full after a small meal. So it's very good you're getting that H. pylori test because H. pylori is one of the top causes of low stomach acid. But I just see it often from taking Tums or an unbalanced diet. So something that we're going to address together and supplement initially with supporting. So there's supplement I'm going to have you take that's providing some HCl, stomach acid for at your meals, so we can initially get those symptoms to improve. I also think there's some adrenal issues going on with these chronic GI stressors and metabolism stressors. So we're going to focus on adrenal and mineral support to improve your stress resiliency in the body. Not even if you feel like you're outwardly stressed, but if we have physiological stress going on with bacterial overgrowth, UTIs, chronic things like this is causing internal stress. So we want to be making sure that we're hydrating our adrenals with lots of minerals and nutrients that it needs to feel calm. And so it's producing less cortisol, our stress hormone. We're going to rule out hypothyroidism, like we said, because there's a really strong connection between low thyroid hormones, low stomach acid, and SIBO development. So we want to be testing TSH, T4, T3, and TPO antibodies, which is associated with Hashimoto's. Because you have the family history of autoimmunity, like your mom with celiac, we do want to rule out some of these autoimmune issues. I do think the dehydration is playing a role, like I said, especially in the nausea. That's something we really want to get up pretty quickly because we need that adequate hydration for all of our cellular processes, our cellular energy, and we want to be using minerals as well. So I have a minerals PDF support in your program module. So I definitely want you to look at that with making homemade mineral drinks with pineapple juice, coconut water, Redmond's real salt. So definitely check that out. And I would love for you to try those out because that actually helps the minerals and water get into your cells as opposed to just drinking tons of straight water. The water can sometimes feel like it's going right through you, right? But if you have minerals and you have a little high quality salt like that Redmond's real salt, go check that out. It's awesome. It's also on my Gut Healthy Amazon list, but it's also linked in the program modules in the mineral support, adrenal support PDF. So that will really help the water get into your cells and help that cellular energy and improve your natural hydration status. Okay, these are the 4 R's. We've talked about this, how we're going to reduce the fuel for the bacteria by going on low FODMAP. We're going to remove the bacteria slowly and in a targeted manner with herbal supplementation. And we're going to repair the damage to the intestinal lining, improve the integrity of the stomach lining that's inflamed, improve the small intestinal integrity, making sure that there's no food or bacterial toxins getting through the gut lining as opposed to being absorbed properly. And we're going to restore the integrity of the GI tract to make sure that we're clearing SIBO and prevent regrowth. We're going to use different probiotics and prebiotics at different stages to support the floral balance and allowing the large intestinal microbiome to thrive post antibiotic use and prevent further need for antibiotics. We talked about this. There's also an optional large intestinal microbiome stool test, which is, again, completely optional. It's under $200. I think the SIBO test is #1 priority, but this is also something that we could think of down the line, or that if you don't get the SIBO test, or, it's something we could talk about, but that tests the large intestinal microbiome to see what bacteria you have present, what's the balance of the good and bad bacteria, what's the microbiome diversity, what are important metabolites being produced in the gut, are they low, are they optimal, what's your bacterial toxin measure. So these are some also beneficial things that can help us with our plan. So we want to achieve plant diversity on the low FODMAP diet. And as we expand off of it while healing the gut, this is also paired with balanced meals to support your metabolism and blood sugar regulation. We want to eradicate SIBO, rebalance the microbiome in the large intestine and small intestine, uncover all possible root causes of SIBO, like thyroid issues, address your large intestinal microbiome, address your gut-brain axis, address your stomach acid support, improve your fiber intake with low FODMAP fiber initially, address your gallbladder if we need to. And then, like we said, reduce inflammation, gut permeability, support the liver, because the liver will contain that stress bucket, right? So we have basically, the liver can only take on so much, and SIBO and bacterial overgrowth actually put a strain on the liver. So we really want to be reducing our toxin exposure as best we can, switching to more non-toxic beauty and skincare. I really like an app called EWG Living by the Environmental Working Group I can send to you. That's really beneficial for checking on your products, looking at your skincare products, your household products. It gives them like a rating, which is nice. This would also reduce the load on the liver as we're working on some of these gut issues, because like I said, the liver is taking on a lot of the load of what's going on in the gut. And I have a whole gut and liver video lesson, but I'd like you to watch that like further down the line, after we start addressing SIBO and all that first. So I'll have you watch the SIBO one first, and then down, in like monthly increments, I'll have you start adding different videos as well as we, go on our journey together. So your water recommendation is about 90 to 100 ounces of water per day. And I know that's a lot for you right now, but maybe you could start with like 50 or 60, and then that could be your goal. When you get to that, then we can make that goal higher. So this is a good time to then start putting that water goal and the water tracker into your Healthy. Let me know if you need help with that. It should be in your settings to set your water goal to 90 to 100. You also want to have like a refillable non-plastic water bottle, preferably glass, so that we don't have microplastics leaching into the water every single day. Again, I wrote down the mineral mocktails and adrenal supportive drinks. I'd recommend them a few times per week. Maybe start with 1 or 2, see how you like it, work your way up a little bit. You can also use Element or keto electrolyte packets. I typically use half of that as a serving because it is high sodium, but it's good quality salt. So that's another way that you could get your electrolytes as opposed to making those mineral mocktails. So let me know if you have questions about that. I'll talk about the balanced meal formula. We really want to focus on balanced, purposeful snacks when needed. So pairing a carbohydrate with a protein or a healthy fat, as opposed to just having carbohydrate by itself, which can increase our blood sugar spike and drop and create that imbalanced blood sugar regulation. So I have a low FODMAP snack list later in this packet. I sent you the grocery list. We definitely have a lot more materials in the program modules and the documents that are going to support you helping to make balanced meals and snacks. So the low FODMAP short-term elimination plan for about 6 to 8 weeks. Like I said, more as needed, depending on the person. And we just want to initially have as many swaps as we need to get you having symptom reduction. You don't have to be super strict at first, and I'll help you with this as you're posting in your journal. I'll be making suggestions of how you can reduce the FODMAPs more, how you can reduce bloating more. I definitely love like garlic infused olive oil or the Trader Joe's black fermented garlic, because onion and garlic are very high FODMAP. So those are 2 things that I'm recommending to eliminate for now. Other very high FODMAP foods are like mushrooms, asparagus, cauliflower, blackberries, mango, peaches, plums. So you have a high FODMAP list in your document section as well. And I'll be sending you another low FODMAP meal plan later this week, just for some more ideas, but you also have one in there as well. It's like a gray PDF with low FODMAP, basically like a low FODMAP meal plan with some links and some meal ideas. Also have you look at the reflux elimination plan PDF with foods that can instigate reflux at this time. And I want you to be writing that in your journal if you don't mind, if you do have reflux, and we could figure out what happened or what foods we think contributed. Then mainly we have citrus foods, we have high fat foods like French fries, hamburgers, tortilla chips, potato chips, chocolate, coffee, acidic foods, oranges, orange juice, tomato sauce. All these things can increase reflux. So we want to just be aware of that. Not that you have to eliminate all these things, but we want to make some connections as we're working on the root cause of treating SIBO. We may need to reduce some of these things at the time. There's also this Métis natural indigestion relief that I really love that helps to naturally address reflux in the moment instead of Tums. I linked also the Monash app and the Spoonful app. These are in your healthy document section, but they're really helpful for low FODMAP diet. I have autoimmunity linked here, which is a blend of clinically studied herbs for the upper GI tract and help improve the small intestinal lining integrity. And these are just some examples of low FODMAP, high fiber foods like kiwi and gluten-free oats, ground flax seeds, chia seeds, sweet potato, carrots, hemp seeds, walnuts, almonds. These things are really, really great for getting your low FODMAP fiber up over these next few weeks. Foods high in omega-3 fatty acids. These are really great for inflammation reduction, and we'll have, a whole live call on this where we talk about healthy fats and what fats are good for you at the time. So I love wild salmon. Hopefully you like it too. I know you did because I've already seen you post it. So that's great. So wild salmon two times a week, 1 to twice a week recommended. Hemp seeds, chia seeds, ground flax seeds, walnuts, avocado in a 1/8 of an avocado portion is low FODMAP. So these foods are really great for omega-3 fatty acids and helping to reduce inflammation in the gut as we're targeting SIBO. I'll have you continue to read through the rest of this. We'll also be working on, like I said, the gut-brain axis. I'm going to be sending you some binaural beats. This is basically like music that you put in headphones that helps get your brain waves to a state of meditation. And that's actually quicker than meditating and easier. But this is really good for your vagus nerve support. And we really need to tone that vagus nerve, which is the connection, the nerve that runs from the gut to the brain. We really want to tone it and help improve the integrity of the vagus nerve. This is really good for SIBO, gut healing, anxiety, and depression. So I'll definitely send you some examples of this for you to listen to because it's really beneficial. So these are your recommendations for supplements. Again, this is temporary. This is a targeted regimen. These will change throughout the program. And as you progress, we're going to be adding in different things and removing things. And I'll be putting them in a chart for you with when I recommend them throughout the day. So 2 supplements to treat SIBO. This is an evidence-based combination and well-researched combination. So it addresses SIBO by targeting the overgrown bacteria, fungi, pathogens, and we could start taking it after the SIBO test if you choose to take it. Some people like to just go ahead and treat if you don't do the test because we have strong evidence of the presence of SIBO. It's really a personal choice. But 1 out of the 2, I'll be sending you as part of the program. I'll be sending you FC Cytal. So that will be coming to you probably, I would say, either if not end of this week, early next week. And then I'm recommending an HCl pancreatic and bile extract supplement. We're going to be supplementing with a little stomach acid support, pancreatic enzyme support, and bile extract support because we want to support that stomach acid, support that fat digestion. And this is going to help reduce the food particle size before it gets to the small intestine that instigates bloating. So we're kind of trying to break down your food a little bit better at that upper stomach to help reduce bloating down the GI tract. Atrantil is also a great, well-studied herbal formulation to assist in the antimicrobials because it helps block gas production. Remember those 3 gases I was talking about? Methane, hydrogen sulfide. So Atrantil helps to block the gas production at the source. So it treats symptoms as well as treating the root causes. And this is a very effective supplement. And then we have a high-quality multivitamin with minerals. There are, all multivitamins are not created equal. So I typically like this one because it has really good quality sources of these nutrients and good forms of them that are easily absorbed and really important for treating SIBO because it depletes a lot of our vitamins and minerals like B vitamins. It kind of takes them in the small intestine before you can absorb them, meaning you have less energy because B vitamins equal good energy production. So you're going to replete some of those nutrients, provide zinc for the gut lining healing, provide selenium for the thyroid. We know it reduces fat soluble vitamins, so repleting some of those. So that's really going to help your natural energy in the meantime. And it's always good to fill in those nutritional gaps, even for anyone without SIBO. And then lastly, I'm recommending an S. boulardii, which is a specific probiotic strain for treating SIBO and chronic UTIs. So it's specifically good for that, for fighting pathogens for UTIs, improving dysbiosis in the large intestine, and supporting gut immune health because a lot of our immune system lies around the gut, about 70%. So this bacteria is going to be really great for improving that intestinal lining, as well as reducing chances of UTI reoccurrence. This is a little bit more about SIBO. Again, I'm going to have you watch the video on that. These are some symptoms, some risk factors, some associated complications, B12 deficiency, anemia. So that's why we want to check a full anemia panel. It's in your recommended lab work. And damage to the intestinal lining, like we've said. So there's a lot that goes on with what it can cause, why it's happening. So that's why we want to do a lot of those additional tests to make sure that we're addressing everything that could have caused SIBO in the first place. It's a little bit more about stomach acid. I know you've watched that. So in addition to, the HCl down the line, I'll probably have you add in some ACV, apple cider vinegar, in water. Limiting alcohol is also great for stomach acid support. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't have any. We just want to be watching the quantity. We'll be strengthening the vagus nerve. So we'll talk more about that throughout the program. And this is a little bit more about that. Let me know if you have questions as you're going through this. This is a little bit more about the low FODMAP elimination diet. I do have a full video on this as well. But FODMAP stands for fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyols, which again are just these fermentable carbs so you don't really need to worry about these, acronyms right now. I just want you to worry about what foods are high FODMAP, which foods are low FODMAP. The low FODMAP ones we want to be increasing. So you have tons of recipes in your document section. And again, I'll be making you some more plans. I have some other resources in this packet as well with how to build a low FODMAP meal. This one's really helpful, kind of picking your base, picking your protein, your vegetables, your fruits, dairy. There are dairy products that are lower lactose. So lactose is high FODMAP, but there are low lactose dairy choices. So it's not a dairy-free diet. We have healthy fats that are included. The only nuts that I would say are high FODMAP to avoid are cashews and pistachios. No proteins have FODMAPs. Protein in itself are not carbohydrates, so all proteins are good, except if it's like a processed meat, you want to typically look at that if it has garlic or onion in it. This is the balanced meal formula. So we're recommending for you half your plate in non-starchy vegetables. And I have examples of that down here. And then we have a quarter plate whole grains or starch, and we have a quarter plate lean protein. So this is kind of what I want you to envision when you're building your plate, because this is going to help you get enough fiber intake. It's going to balance your blood sugar. It's going to support SIBO healing, and it's going to help with weight loss. This is a little bit more about that, building a healthy plate and expanding off of each of those macro recommendations. This is a little bit more about why it's very important to have a balanced breakfast. I do think as a dietitian, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, because we do want to set our blood sugar up for better regulation throughout the day. If we have a high carb meal, like this red line will spike, increasing our blood sugar to almost 200, and that's in a non-diabetic. So that's if you have a bagel, a pancake, a waffle, a donut by itself, all these high carbohydrate foods without any protein. So our goal is to get to about 30 grams of protein per meal. 2 eggs is only about 14 grams. So you do want to, if you are only having eggs, you want to boost it up with maybe a little cottage cheese or yogurt or hemp seeds. Or a little regular cheese. We want to be boosting up the protein, making sure we're getting that 25 to 30 grams. And I do have a protein and macro breakdown guide. So check out the protein guide in your program modules, because that will tell you what foods are equal to how many grams of protein, and that will help you build up your meals. And I'll also help you with that in your journals as well. This is an example of a savory balanced breakfast that's low FODMAP. So definitely read through the rest of this packet. I don't want to take too long in the video where you're tuning out, because I'm getting a little long. So I have a bone broth concentrate linked here that I love. I have, again, the Redmond's mineral salt linked, which is great with that. Those are mineral drinks. I have grass-fed collagen, which is also great to boost your protein in the morning as part of your breakfast. I have the Amazon page linked. I have some food portion examples on the Monash app, but you don't have to get too crazy about this now. I want you to just start looking for low FODMAP food choices, and then I'll help you fine tune portion sizes down the line as we go. These are some low FODMAP fruits and their portion sizes. And we always want to be balancing if we can with protein or healthy fats. And I have, again, a low FODMAP snack list to help you with that with the snack pairing. These are some of my low FODMAP fiber favorite foods like chia seeds, walnuts, quinoa, half a cup of canned chickpeas, brown rice, and pumpkin seeds. These are some different flavors that are great for helping you cook without garlic and onion. So definitely don't want to keep our meals boring. We want to keep them interesting. So this helps you get that nice different flavor profile. This is an example of a Buddha bowl with that's low FODMAP. That, see, we're keeping it colorful. Even if we're on an elimination diet, that's the goal, to have colorful, plant diverse meals. And still take a little time, but we'll get there. And I'll let you read through the rest. I have some recipes at the back of the end of the packets. Again, this low FODMAP healthy snack list, a few things that are good to meal prep, like quinoa, roasted green beans, a maple Dijon salad dressing, roasted sweet potatoes. So definitely check out this, a fresh turmeric tea. You could also make that iced. Organic bone broth and strawberry almond butter oatmeal, and a smoothie, a blueberry smoothie. So let me know what questions you have, read through everything, and we will make sure that you're feeling really good about the plan. Any questions that you have, let me know. I'm going to be recommending your supplements through Fullscript, which is my supplement dispensary with 10% off on everything. And you're getting high quality supplements, because Amazon can be a little sketchy. So we want to make sure that we're getting high quality supplements that are the real deal and not fake. So I'll be sending you that email. You'll be able to easily just place an order on Fullscript, depending on what you want to get right away. And you can let me know if you're good with getting everything, or you want to wait till you get the SIBO test. That's totally fine. So we'll talk soon, and let me know what questions you have.